Hey everyone, before we get into the video, I just want to apologize for the large amount of censorship throughout this video. I had to do a lot to, get it monetized. Anyways, let's get into the video. I do not think there's a type of content I make that my fans are more excited for than rants about reaction channels. To Jinx, to Tyrone Magnus, to blasphemousHD, and to Susie Lou, I felt as if though all that needed to be said about reaction channels was already said. They steal content from other YouTubers and literally play the entire thing in the corner. Oh wait, they stopped doing that. They now instead play the entire video while putting themselves in the corner. They took the biggest complaint people had about them and made it 10 times worse. But there are other things that have changed about reaction channels. I remember a time when all the big ones used to be black. Rashad the Reactor, Tyrone Magnus, Jinx, CJ So Cool, blasphemousHD, and more. I made a living talking about these loud and obnoxious people who are just thieves right down to the very core. Yeah, some people actually accused me of racism because so many reaction channels were black. Black people making reaction channels became so common that it straight up became a stereotype. That being said, there were a few white reaction channels that I did talk about, like Spazboy and Susie Lou. But nowadays, all the big reaction channels that people don't like are white, which is absolutely cultural appropriation in my book. And also, reaction channels are now less prominent on YouTube and they're mainly on Twitch now. I'm a little hesitant to call what they do reactions because sometimes they just leave their computer and let the video play. Where's the reaction? Now in the past and even today, reaction channels have made the argument that people like me are complete hypocrites because sometimes we use clips from other people's videos. Yes, they are actually dumb enough to make the argument that playing a handful of 10-second clips from someone else's video is the same as letting someone's video play while your chair just sits there in a corner. Like if someone wanted to react to my content and they pause the video about once every 30 seconds to give their own commentary, I would be totally a-okay with it. There are moral ways that someone can make reaction videos, by doing things like asking for permission, giving a big shout out to the creator of the original video at the beginning of the video, although this is not a very good one because why would you watch the original video when you already saw a reaction to it? I mean, after all, someone posting your video to Reddit will almost always give it a bigger boost than someone reacting to it. Reacting to videos from people who ask for their content to be reacted to, and reacting to things like movie, games, and show trailers. By the way, this is one of the main reasons why YouTube hasn't banned content like this. It's because big studios want their trailers to be seen by as many people as possible, and reaction channels absolutely give them free advertisement. The reason why YouTube did something about reply girls and didn't do anything about reaction channels is because reply girls weren't making money for big studios, but reaction channels were. It really sucks when I make long, highly edited full reviews of certain shows, only to be hit by copyright because I played a clip for 15 seconds too long. This is why reaction channels mostly react to other YouTubers' videos, as opposed to TV shows and movies. It's because YouTubers do not have the same protections as big studios have. So us content creators, God, that is such a cringy term. Realize that if YouTube wasn't going to do anything about it, then we had to do something about it ourselves. We pushed back against reaction channels. Grade A Under A, I Hate Everything, and Jack's Films dunked on reaction channels. People like Rashad the Reactor, Jinx, and Tyrone Magnus quickly became some of the most hated people on YouTube. When the Fine Bros, one of the very few people who actually made good reaction content, tried to copyright the term react, they got torn apart. We sent a message and the message was clear. If you make reaction content, expect us to come for you. The absolute longest back and forth drama I ever had was with this one guy named T-Moss Boss. He's an absolute idiot who has lied constantly, made fun of one of his detractors because their mom died, wished violence on people who didn't like his content, directly asked his audience that he doesn't have to harass people who he doesn't like, gave himself the title of hardest working YouTuber in Washington State, if not the world, because he has a lot of channels, and just so many other things, but this video is not about him. The point I'm trying to make is that we all did our part and we pushed reaction channels back. Unfortunately, they're now more prominent than ever before. Thanks to websites like Twitch, TikTok, and other websites trying to copy TikTok, the algorithm just favored them too much, and now they're everywhere. Fighting against reaction channels is like fighting against a hydra. You chop off one head and two grow back. Yes, reaction channels are still getting a lot of hate, like SQ SSSniperWolf, and Hasan Piker. But all of that hate they're getting is not very effective because they can always just cry into a pile of money. You see, the way Twitch works is not by rewarding high quality content, because a lot of the content there is basically on the same level. That's because basically all the content on there is live, and there's only so much you can do when you're live. It doesn't matter how many editors you hire, because there's no way they can edit your video on the fly. Sure, live streaming from a room that looks nice and has good lighting will more often than not get more views than live streaming from a room that looks terrible and also has terrible lighting. A VTuber who's a hot anime girl will more than likely get more views than a VTuber who uses, I don't know, a pile of sludge as their avatar. And of course, a speedrunner who's super good at a game will get more views than a speedrunner who's absolute trash. The point I'm trying to make is that talent is still a factor even for something like live streaming. That being said, the Twitch algorithm still seems to favor quantity over quality, even more so than YouTube does. Some of the most popular Twitch streamers like Hasan Piker and SQC stream constantly, almost every single day for multiple hours a day. They need to keep engagement from as many people as they can for as long as they can. So if they have to use the bathroom, eat, grab a package, or talk to someone on the phone, they'll just take someone else's content and play it so their audience is still entertained. So I can perfectly understand why they do this. It's an easy way to make money. But it's still wrong! Taking someone's video that they have worked on for weeks, months, sometimes even years, that they have poured their blood, sweat, and tears into, just so you can keep your audience entertained while you take a dump, is completely and absolutely morally repugnant. Now you're probably wondering to yourself, what kind of people make reaction content? Well, unsurprisingly, it's terrible people. Let's start with Hasan Piker, probably the biggest and most hated leftist streamer. He's the nephew of the Young Turks guy Cenk Uygur, and I first heard about him when he said, America deserved to have their World Trade Center destroyed. But to be fair, he did apologize for this. He then started popping off again when he used the term cracker in a derogatory way. The memes from this were pretty funny, but he wouldn't be really hated until WillyMac documented every terrible thing that Hasan Piker did. If you want more information about this guy, I would highly recommend checking out WillyMac's videos. I'm not saying I agree with every point the guy made, but I do think they are very well made videos. Hassan is what's known as a champagne socialist, which is basically a rich guy who pretends to support socialism, but they don't actually agree with it, and they also think it will never happen. They only support it because it makes them look more moral. Hassan has outfits more expensive than most people's cars. Speaking of cars, his car is worth $200,000, and he lives in a $3 million mansion. But he still will claim that he lives on a basic necessity budget.
Live on a basic necessity budget for the most part anyway.
But don't forget, he only bought the car so his community could have fun. He didn't actually want it.
Bro, this is why I do this stuff, okay? This is why I was like, I might not even buy this car in the end if it's like, you know, too much of a hassle. But like, I literally do this for that.
Yeah, he spent 150 grand on a car so Austin Ox can make a 30-second video.
No, literally, yeah, so we can all have fun.
That's like, how good he has it, baby.
So, yeah, no, I mean, I'm not even kidding, yeah, so my community can have fun, like.
Yeah, I think this guy just supports socialist policies because he's like, we'll turn it to state capitalism anyways and I'll make even more money. I do not know how delusional you have to be to spend $200,000 on a car for yourself and act like you're being generous. He also doesn't believe in ownership of IP and constantly fights against copyright laws, straight up saying on the H3H3 podcast that he thinks people should be allowed to just re-upload his videos.
I think that as far as like rigorous control over IP, I personally don't have it. I don't believe in it. I don't think it's a good thing.
What do you mean you don't believe in it? I don't understand what that means. You think that people should be able to steal your videos and upload it?
Yeah.
But he only says all of this because, well, it's completely self-serving. Of course he's okay with people re-uploading his videos. Most of it isn't even his content, and he doesn't even put any heart or passion into them. Why would anyone even want to react to him? And because he keeps stealing other people's videos once copyright law is gone, he can do whatever he wants. Stealing Hassan's content is like stealing from a thief. Because it is! This is one of the most frustrating things about reaction channels. They always say, oh, I don't care if people react to my content. Well, of course you don't. You didn't put any hard work into it. Hassan straight up said that in a perfect world, the government would subsidize content like his.
In a perfect world, I think that content of this sort would be heavily subsidized by government subsidies in the arts, in the field of art.
You would be subsidized?
Yeah, this dude thinks he should be paid by the government for reacting to other people's videos. Forget about your tax dollars going to fund the military or healthcare. They should go to a guy who steals other people's content. Hasan claimed he stopped walking away while other people's videos played, but he didn't. He still does it just as much as he always did. Now, the issue isn't that Hasan is getting up from his chair and just letting the video play for several minutes at a time, because even if he didn't get up and leave, he would just be sat there not saying, well, anything. The problem is, he's not even trying to give the illusion that he's contributing anything to the video like Jinx did. I also want to make it clear that he's by no means the only reaction Twitch streamer that does this. He's just the most popular one that I know about that does this, and it sets a precedent for other people to do the same. Now, I'm not a geopolitical guy, that's not at all my field of expertise. So, everyone, please stop asking what my opinion on Palestine versus Israel is. But the amount of geopolitical things that Hasan Piker has gotten wrong is just amazing. The funniest of which is when he said Russia was not going to attack Ukraine, even though there was video evidence of them getting their troops ready.
They're just lining up their tanks around the Ukraine border because they want to do a parade. Oh, and the US intelligence saying that they're going to invade, that's just American propaganda.
Now, of course, Hasan Piker is not exactly an oracle. He's going to get things wrong. But whenever he does get something wrong, he does whatever he can to not take accountability for it. With enough pushback and proof that he's absolutely wrong, he eventually will admit that he was wrong, but he'll always fall back on, oh, I'm just some idiot on Twitch. But when the very next geopolitical issue comes up, he'll speak on it with absolute authority, telling you not to listen to other journalists, just listen to him, because he has evidence, like, tweets. And nothing else. Now, I did say I'm not going to share my opinion on Palestine versus Israel, but I think it's pretty crazy that Hasan believes that if you disagree with him on concert goers being killed, then you believe that every Palestinian should be genocided. Like, no matter what side you're on any conflict, you should show at least a little empathy, but apparently Hasan doesn't. Like, this is one of the biggest problems with intersectionalism. I don't know what side Hasan is supposed to be on. He claims to be a socialist, but Islamists are not really the biggest fans of socialism. Like, there's a reason why Oliver North secretly sold missiles to Iran. They hated the commies even more than America did. Let that sink in. If you disagree with Hasan on anything, he'll call you genocidal, fascist, transphobic, racist, sexist, or other terms that basically boil down to you being something bad. But when a trans person disagreed with Hasan on trans issues, well, Hasan was transphobic towards them.
For the past 15 months, you've been able to fucking hide in these ranks. You catboy fuck. Move your catboy ass out of here. You are never welcome. You are never going to be unbanned, no matter how difficult it is, no matter how much you want to get unbanned, I will never unban you. You are now banished into the f***ing shadow realm, okay?
Now, I'm not trans myself, but I don't think MTFs like being called catboys. Now, the latest thing to happen to Hasan, which I learned about as I was working on this video, is that his viewership is declining. And of course, he's having a mental breakdown over it.
I swear, Twitch streaming isn't about the actual content. It's about whether people want to pay attention to you or not, and clout. All that was a banger, and at 13K watched, like I'm gaming at 8 p.m. I'm done. I hate this job and I'm not streaming today.
It's almost like a whole bunch of people suddenly realized that this dude doesn't really have anything to offer, and that he's also a horrible person. Even his core fan base on the Hasan Piker subreddit are dunking on him. Ha! Even XQC is making fun of him. Roughly 90% of reaction channels that get big eventually have their fanbase leave them because their fanbase realizes, well, they're not doing anything. And reaction channels always freak out about declining viewership because, well, they really have no skills. Hasan, look at the bright side. At least you didn't lose 90% of your ad revenue because you got hacked, which I'll be getting into at the end of this video. But this video isn't just about how Hasan Piker is a horrible person. That's what WillyMac's video is about, so if you want more information, I highly recommend checking it out. This video is about how reaction channels are even worse nowadays, so now we're gonna move on to SSSniperWolf. Now, you see how I just used a lot of points from WillyMac's video, and I gave him a very loud and verbal shout out. the chances of you checking out his video has greatly gone up. But what if I reacted to his entire video and didn't credit him at all? Well, SSSniperWolf has done that plenty of times. Now, SSSniperWolf has been on YouTube for over a decade at this point, and anyone who has been on YouTube for over a decade is going to build up a few controversies. Anyone looks like a horrible person if you take all of their mistakes and line them up in a row. But SSSniperWolf is a reaction channel, so she's stealing content basically every single day. SSSniperWolf's first claim to fame was when she accused Girl Gone Gamer for faking gameplay.
So yesterday I posted a video called The Truth About Girl Gone Gamer, which actually got a lot more attention than I would have ever thought, and it seemed to cause a war between the fanboys.
Later on, she did delete this video, but there's a re-upload of it. Now, despite being a reaction channel, SSSniperWolf would copyright strike other people's videos, lie about them, dox them, and of course, she would belittle them.
A couple of years ago, he re-uploaded one of my videos, and you can't just take somebody else's content and re-upload it and monetize it.
Oh, the irony! It's too much!
So I filed the copyright claim with YouTube trying to take it down. And in the copyright process, I got his real name, and of course I googled his name, and it turns out he is a registered offender.
As you can plainly see, SSSniperWolf is, well, pretty attractive. This is how she got so popular. Simps will just run to her channel and give her money. And of course, just like a lot of pretty popular rich girls, she will constantly make fun of the appearance of other people. Pretty privilege is absolutely a thing, and SSSniperWolf definitely has it in droves. Before she doxed Jax Films, SSSniperWolf's biggest controversy was when she ignored a terminally ill fan. Now, this fan of SSSniperWolf is unfortunately no longer with us, so I will not be saying her name nor showing her face in this video. A 10-year-old girl was dying of that really bad disease we all know about, but YouTube might demonetize me for saying it. Sir, her dream was just to talk to her idol, SSSniperWolf. Now, I'm gonna be honest here, if SSSniperWolf refused to do this call, that would be a problem, but she agreed to do it and then blew it off. Refusing to do something is one thing, but it's not that bad. But getting this girl's hopes up just to not follow through on your promise is so much worse. Like, this 10-year-old girl is literally dying from horrific illness that I really hope we find a cure for. Sir. And SSSniperWolf just blows it off to, I don't know, get a latte with her friends or something? Oh wait, she wasn't getting coffee, she was getting cake. But to be fair, she did eventually call this girl. Granted, it was only after she got a significant amount of backlash. But she still ended up making this little girl's dream come true. However, she only messaged this girl and sent her a video. She didn't FaceTime her, call her, or did anything she said she would. Even when she receives massive backlash, all she does is, well, the bare minimum. This would be the biggest controversy SSSniperWolf ever got herself into for quite a while. Until, of course, Jax Films came along. For as much credit as I give to people like I Hate Everything and Grade A Under A for fighting against reaction channels, if there's anyone who's the MVP for fighting against reaction channels, it's definitely Jax Films. This guy is like the devil for reaction channels. If you make lazy reaction content, he will find you, he will come for you, and he will make a video making fun of you. On the 26th of October 2022, Jax Films uploaded a video about his plan to make a parody account of SSSniperWolf. The account was named JJ Jax Films. Oh, I'm sorry, Jax Films. Basically, on this channel, he would react to SSSniperWolf's reactions. And believe it or not, this channel reached over 100,000 subscribers, and he got his silver play button for it. Needless to say, SSSniperWolf was not too happy with Jax Films' parody account of her. So did she stop reacting to YouTube videos and TikToks? Of course not! She was getting roughly 1 million views per video. And the commentary that she would add to these videos was so, well, baseline that people would straight up make bingo cards to predict what she would say in them. She was making a lot of money by, well, essentially doing nothing. She was on easy mode, so of course she wasn't going to take the criticism. So what did Jax Films do on his Jax Films channel? Well, he would of course poke fun at her content and use the bingo card. He did this because he wanted to prove the point that her content was, well, repetitive and lazy and terrible. He wanted to show YouTube that supporting lazy content like this would encourage even more people to also make lazy content like this. After all, why work hard to create original content when you can just, well, steal it? But Jax did more than just make YouTube videos. On the 29th of June 2023, he tweeted out at YouTube and VidCon, "I invented reacting to other people's TikToks. Anyone else is copying me. Incredible mental gymnastics. Hey at YouTube, at VidCon, you sure you're okay with boosting her? Are you absolutely sure?" The same day, SniperWolf would quote tweet him saying, "Wah, I can't stand that a female YouTuber is getting even more views than me, even though I make the same content. Grr, life is hard." For context, Jax Films made another channel where he copied my content for a few months, thinking it would blow up and get millions of views. It didn't, and now he's mad. Also, I hate bringing gender into this, but no one ever attacks the male react channels. Okay, so first of all, Jack didn't make the channel to blow up on YouTube. He did it to mock SniperWolf's low-effort content. Second, and much more important, has she not been on YouTube for the last decade? Male reaction channels were being torn apart left and right. Jinx, Tyrone Magnus, Rashad the Reactor, the Fine Bros especially, and even more. If anything, male reaction channels were getting a lot more hate than female reaction channels for the longest time. Yeah, this is such a world ends, women most affected moment. And Jax Films was definitely the guy who started the bandwagon against Jinx, so I don't know what she's talking about. Also, Jax Films has gone after multiple other male reaction channels. Sometimes people use the gender or the minority card to get out of something, but sometimes when they use it, it completely blows up in their face. Later on, SniperWolf mocked Jax Films for his hairline, which of course debunked none of his arguments and just made people hate her even more. Jax Films continued to point out that SniperWolf's content was lazy, repetitive, and stolen. He showed how she didn't credit people properly, and he reached out to multiple creators to see if they gave SniperWolf permission to use their content. Unsurprisingly, all of them said no. Now, the videos Jack made on SniperWolf were blowing up. They were getting millions upon millions of views. It seemed like the backlash against SniperWolf was growing more and more. However, on the 14th of September 2023, a YouTuber by the name of MadCatStar managed to discover a lawsuit about SniperWolf. The lawsuit involves SniperWolf's partner, Evan Young, aka Sausage. So remember how I said SniperWolf accused Girl Gone Gamer of faking gameplay? Yeah, according to this lawsuit, Evan Young was the one who was actually playing the game, and SniperWolf was just pretending to play it. According to this lawsuit, SniperWolf and her boyfriend agreed to split the channel revenue 50-50. Of course, when she discovers she can just make reaction content, she didn't need her boyfriend anymore to fake her gameplay. This revealed to everyone that SniperWolf's success was built on a pile of lies. But even more importantly, this revealed to the public her old channel, SSSniperWolf. On her SSSniperWolf channel, she made, let's just say, very provocative content. It was a different time on YouTube before that stuff was getting censored left and right. People dug up SniperWolf saying racist things, sexist things, transphobic things, ableist things, and just a whole bunch of other horrible stuff. 10 years ago, back when she went by SSSniperWolf, a YouTuber by the name of Mignahood criticized her. In response, SniperWolf of course filed a DMCA takedown of his video. She got his docs information, and then claimed that he was a child version of Predator from Alien vs. Predator. Oh yeah, and she would also of course body shame him and be racist towards him. And the cherry on top of all of this is that SniperWolf was also very things that make God sad. Inappropriate with minors. Very, very young minors. Now I could go on and on about all the other terrible stuff SniperWolf has done, but this video is already long enough, so let's move on to when she doxed Jax Films. She posted on Instagram, "Should I go visit Jax Films? He lives 5 minutes from my shoot." She didn't wait for a response and went straight to Jack's house. Only a few hours after she made this post, she deleted it. But the damage was already done. You may have heard of the term sarcastic terrorism, and posting someone's location to your 5.5 million followers definitely falls under sarcastic terrorism. This put Jack and his entire family in danger. Not to mention, it's a huge invasion of privacy. She likely did this because she thought if it wasn't for him, people wouldn't have dug up all this dirt on her. SniperWolf herself has said that she doesn't like her fans showing up to her own home, so she knows that this is a bad thing to do. Now, the backlash against SniperWolf SSSniperWolf was already bad, but thanks to this incident, it got so much worse. YouTubers left and right were calling her out for this. She lost hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but because of her channel growth, it really didn't do any damage to her. So did YouTube delete her channel for this? Of course they didn't. Because YouTube loves protecting reaction channels. If you're one of the top 1,000 biggest creators, doing something that would have gotten any other YouTuber banned will result in just a slap on the wrist for you. All YouTube did was temporarily demonetize some of her newest videos, and that's it. SSniperWolf gave her first ever public apology, and yeah, it seems like it was generated by AI. If you want to know more information about SSniperWolf, I would highly recommend this video by Cruel World Happy Mind. But that's all I have to say about SSniperWolf. I'm now going to go over one more reactor. Hello everyone, Editing Jar here. Apparently, as I was working on this video, I recently learned that back in 2018, SSniperWolf allegedly assaulted another YouTuber by the name of Azzyland. Nerd City has released an hour-long video all about this if you want to learn more. Basically, Azzy was the new upcoming SSniperWolf, and SSniperWolf was of course copying her because, you know, that's all she ever does. There's not a single original thought in this woman's head, I swear. And finally, we have the last reactor that I'm gonna go over for this video, XQC. And I'm gonna be honest here, in comparison to Hasan Piker and SSniperWolf, he's the least bad. Yeah, this is the moment in the video where I'm gonna get a lot of comments along the lines of,
I agreed with this video up until this point. Dislike and unsubscribe.
First of all, it's really hard for me to debunk any arguments that this guy makes. Not because they're really smart and well thought out, but because, well, I can't understand a word this guy is saying. XQC used to be a pro Overwatch player, but then he discovered a much faster way to get rich, and that was stealing other people's content. Now, XQC has been in drama before, but the hatred around him seemed to really start popping off when a channel named, Lem-I-No? Is it pronounced Lemino? I don't know. Anyways, they put out this very long and very highly detailed video all about the Kennedy assassination, and XQC just reacted to the entire thing. A Twitter user by the name of Bub Films called out SQC for this, and Mudahar greatly boosted it. SQC did the absolute worst thing he could do by responding to this, and he said, okay, let me see if I can do his voice. Wow, chat, I wonder what triggered people like you so much. Revenue share? Audience split? Algorithm? I've heard this complaint a million times at most. Quote-unquote public figures try to attack this from multiple angles, just to fall flat on their face. I'm watching a vid I like to my people. That's it. This of course caused Mudahar, along with a whole bunch of other commentators, to all jump on XQC. Eventually, this drama made its way all the way up to Ethan Klein, and XQC along with H3H3 had a debate. So how did the debate go? Well, I'm gonna be honest here, XQC was just trolling the whole time. After the debate, he sent Ethan a picture of his expensive watch. Like, I think it's clear to everyone that this dude is trolling. And don't forget, chat, I have your whole house on my wrist. A little later on, XQC got into some hot water again when he talked about the war in Gaza. Just look at that thumbnail. He replied to this controversy with a picture of himself holding a bunch of money, and the caption, huh? It was at this point doing my research into this guy that I realized something. He's just doing the same strategy as Logan Paul and Andrew Tate. He's pissing people off on purpose. Like, sure, I don't think he's as bad as SSniperWolf or Hasan Piker, but he's way better at pushing people's buttons because, well, he's intentionally trying to piss people off. It's not smart to hate on people like XQC, Logan Paul, or Andrew Tate, because it's what they want you to do. You know the saying, all publicity is good publicity? Well, these guys live by that saying. On the one hand, I kind of admire these people for being open scumbags. They're not trying to pretend to be moral when they really aren't. They just loudly announce, hey, I'm a terrible person, give me money. The best way to deal with people like this is to, well, ignore them. I'm just bringing XQC up in this video because if I didn't, well, people would complain in the comments. Bro straight up admitted that he steals content for a living. He said that because he feeds off the hate. and I'm not gonna give him any more. But I am perplexed as to why people watch this guy. I mean, people say my voice is grating, but I can't even understand a word this guy is saying. Alright, now it's time for my ending thoughts. Roughly a decade ago, reaction channels were a plague on this website. Not just because they steal content, but because they're absolutely horrible people. They were like that back then, they're like that now, and they're going to be like that in the future, because YouTube just keeps protecting them. There are plenty of more things I could say about SQC, Hasan Piker, and SSSniperWolf, but plenty of other YouTubers have already made multi-hour long videos diving deep into their terrible actions. The purpose of my video is just to highlight that reaction channels just keep doing terrible things. Several people will continue to get hurt, and millions of more people will have their content stolen. But hey, at least a few big companies will get some free advertising. Now, before we get to the credits, I have something very unfortunate to tell all of you. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Okay, that was the original ending to this video, but it got pushed back and I uploaded my video about why so many black superheroes have electric powers first. If you've seen the ending of that video, then you probably know what happened to me. Yep, YouTube took about 90% of my earnings for about 2 weeks. But thanks to you guys coming together and helping me out on Patreon, I have made, wow, a decent amount of money through that website. Now things are still not back to normal, I have a lot of debt I need to pay off. But thanks to you guys, things are a lot better. I'm gonna start pumping out a lot more videos than I used to. I already have 2 more videos for this channel in the works. A video for the old channel that's gonna be over 2 hours long. And of course, I'll get started on even more power scaling videos for fast fictional fights. But before we get to the credits, I just want to say from the bottom of my hard drive, thank you. You really helped this robot out.